Shalom Akim, all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Kwakadash, double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone, salutation to you, Akim, doing the work in truth sincerity. This is basically going to be a video answering Tucker Carlson's questions to Mike Huckabee, which is going completely off about the true Israelites. Now, Tucker Carlson asked Mike Huckabee a question, and Mike Huckabee gave some examples of who the true Israelites would be. You know, of course, he used the J-Wish people as the example. However, when you actually listen to the examples he gave, the J-Wish people don't fit. The Tiny Tops do not fit any of the criteria that he put out. And I'm going to answer his first criteria, and then subsequent videos I answer the other ones. So let me play this clip for you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start about right here. And I'm gonna play this clip. Let me start off by saying fair use. You know, fair use being claimed. Let me go ahead and get it real quick. Bear with me for a second. Yeah. There we go. So let me read this fair use disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. So, copyright disclaimer claimed.
You know that?
Well, if you take the genealogies that come not only from the Old but the New Testament, you see that there is a historical connection through the entirety of the Old and the New Testament that details the Jewish connection to this.
Okay, that's the first wrong right there, because there is no J-O-O wish connection. It's an Israelite connection. That's the first lie, since I played this video. Mike Huckabee is lying. There is no J-O-O wish connection. There is an Israelite connection in the Bible of the ancient people.
Land.
Does that include Bibi's family? How do we know that if his family
if they were
here,
scattered?
But how do we know it's the same people? No, why is that crazy? If you say to me,
if they speak the same language, if they worship the same God, if they follow the same Bible, if they follow the same cultures and traditions, and they always pray next year in Jerusalem, and they pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and they pray facing toward Jerusalem, does that not give you a little bit of a clue as to who they are?
Let's go through the...
There you go. I'm going to play it again just in case you missed it.
His family? How do we know that if his family
if they were scattered?
But how do we know it's the same people? No, why is that crazy? If you say to me,
if they speak the same language, if they worship the same God, if they follow the same Bible, if they follow the same cultures and...
Now, if they speak the same language, follow the same God, read the same Bible, follow the same customs. It's basically what he said. Now, the first one, if they speak the same language, I'm going to deal with that one in this video. So, let's see. The language of the modern small hats is not Hebrew. This is AI overview. Yiddish, the language that they speak. Yiddish originated in the 10th century in Rhine Valley, Germany, as a West Germanic language. So they don't speak the same language. As a West Germanic language used by the Ashkenazi Jays. So they speak a West Germanic language used by the modern day Jays. So they don't speak the same language. I'm going to go on. It developed as a fusion of High Germanic dialects, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Romance languages eventually incorporating Slavic elements as speakers migrated to Eastern Europe. Written in the Hebrew alphabet, it is served as daily language for Central and Eastern European Jays. So the only thing it has in common with the ancient language is the alphabet. The language itself is a Germanic language. In other words, it's not Hebrew. It is a Germanic language. So, yeah, they don't speak the same language. This is Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may call upon the name of Yahweh to serve him with one consent. So yes, a pure language. This is a prophecy. The Heavenly Father is going to turn his people to a pure language. This is AI overview again. The verse referencing the language of Canaan is Isaiah 19 and 18, which prophesies a future time when 5 cities of Egypt will adopt the language of the Israelites, Hebrew Canaanite language, and swear allegiance to the Lord. This passage symbolizes the conversion of 15 foreigners to the worship of the God of Israel. So this is the point right here. Egypt will adopt the language of the Israelites, and it has Hebrew Canaan, which Isaiah 19 and 18 reads, "In that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan," which we already established that's the Hebrew language, the Israelite language, "and swear to Yahweh of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction." So, a couple more AI overviews. The Phoenician script, 1050 BCE, originated from earlier Proto-Canaanite, Proto-Sinaitic script, which was developed by West Semitic speakers in the Levant Sinai region during the 2nd millennium BCE. It evolved as a simplified linear 22-letter consonantal system abjad influenced by Egyptian hieroglyphs, adapted for easier maritime trade documentation. Now, when you look at the Phoenician script, let's see what you see. This is the language of the Phoenician script, aka Paleo-Hebrew. This is the Paleo-Hebrew right here. So, and they show the historical stone tablets with the same language on it. But this is the Phoenician script, or Paleo-Hebrew. So, you know what the origins of Yiddish is. You know what the origins of the Phoenician script is, which is the ancient Hebrew or Paleo-Hebrew, and which I also typed in for AI overview ancient Hebrew. And it reads, "Ancient Hebrew, primarily known as Biblical or Classic Hebrew, is a Northwest Semitic language used by the Israelites in the kingdoms of Israel and Judah, 1200 to 586 BCE. It is the original language of the Hebrew Bible Tanakh, written in the Paleo-Hebrew script before shifting to Aramaic-derived characters. This ancient language, which flourished before 300 BCE, is the precursor to modern Hebrew." And it's only a precursor to modern Hebrew because they use the same alphabet, not because the language is the same. Just like it reads in this, in this AI overview, because they use a West Germanic language, not the true Hebrew language. So when you read this, you you thinking of the letters of the ancient Hebrew, not the Paleo Hebrew, because it was two scripts, the Phoenician script and what was the other script? It slips my mind what the other script was called, but that's basically the ancient Hebrew. And when you look at the images, what images do it show you? It shows you the Phoenician script. And it shows you a mixture of the Phoenician script and the modern script. Like I said, it slips my mind what the modern script was called back then. I want to say Assyrian script. The Phoenician script, which is the ancient script, the language of the Canaanites, and the Assyrian script, which is basically the modern Hebrew script. And when you look at it, basically it compares the Phoenician script with the Assyrian script, which is the modern script, the one you see in the Bible today. Why does it do that? Because it's basically recognizing that yes, there is two different scripts of ancient Hebrew. The Canaanite, which is Phoenician script or Paleo Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, and the Assyrian script, which was the modern characters for the ancient Hebrew language. So that proves that they don't speak the same language. You know, I mean, it's all right there. The evidence is right there. The history is right there. And yes, AI proves it, you know, by getting all of this history, man. And when you just do, look, a very small amount of studying, you can see that, you know, Mike Huckabee is a liar. Straight up liar. You know, Tucker Carlson wants to have this conversation. Why? Because he's basically met the apostles before. And he's probably been watching ever since. And he wants to prove the truth wrong. But at every stop, they can't prove their point. Like I say, it only takes just a little bit of studying to see this. You know, the language right there is a West Germanic language used with Hebrew alphabet, used with the Hebrew alphabet. However, when you type in the language of the Canaanites or the Phoenician script, you can look at the images and see the Phoenician script. And then when you type in ancient Hebrew, you look at the characters and they're basically comparing the Assyrian script with the Phoenician script. Why? Because it's the same language with different characters. Yet they say it's in Yiddish, the Hebrew that they speak today, is a different language with the same characters. So that gives you a clue that they're not the Israelites. And that's why they call them J-Wish people. They're not the same people. As I always point out, you go to etymology and you type in the J-Wish people, it's differentiated from the ancient Israelites. In fact, let's go and do that. Let's go to etymology online and see this. All right, online etymology. Let's see. Matter of fact, it's not this. Here it is. There you go. Israeli. Citizen of the State of Israel, 1948. Letting you know exactly who we talking about. The ones that's calling themselves JOOs today. The ones we call tiny tops or small hats. That's what we're talking about. From Israel plus Hebrew national designation suffix I or E. Also used in English as the adjective 1948. They said it twice, so you don't get it mixed up. It distinguishes from the citizens of the modern state from the ancient people who had been known in the English since the 14th century as Israelites. The Israelis are not the Israelites, is what it's telling you. That's in the online etymology, man. So it basically brings to light what it said in the Bible, where they say they are Jews and are not. That's basically what it's saying to you. Revelations 2 and 9. It reads, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And when you go to online etymology, it basically tells you the citizens of the state of Israel 1948. The same ones that call themselves JOO wish people. That's why the scriptures say they are Jews and they are not. Because they are not. Revelations 3 and 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. So these Yiddish-speaking people that's in our land are not the real Israelites. As they call themselves, they're Israelis. They're not the real people. And that's point one in what Mike Huckabee said. Like I said, in subsequent videos, I make a part 2 to it, dealing with the next part, the God that they worship, the book that they read, and the customs they follow, because it's not the same as the ancient Israelites. But now we know that the language is definitely not the same, letting you know that they are not the real Israelites. They fit well into Revelations 2 and 9 as the synagogue of Satan. And with that, I hope you all can be edified. Till the next time, all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Kakadash. The belongs to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Akim, doing the work in true sincerity. Till the next time, Shalom.